Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This morning we're going to make Scrapple. That's one of my all-time favorite comfort breakfast foods that's ever existed. It's a northern thing. It's a Pennsylvania, stuff like that. And I will warn you, the original Scrapple, they basically would take all of the, as I was told as a kid, the lips and assholes, and put it in a big pot and render it down, get all the grease off of it because they wanted the grease. And what was left over was usually just chunks of unknown kidney, heart, liver, gunk and junk. So this was cooked down, chopped up, mixed with basically cornmeal, and then made into a congealed loaf, and then turned around and was sliced and put on your plate for breakfast. And, well, of course, cooked and fried and put in your plate. So my grandfather got a hold of this, I assume, and going through his books and his stuff, it's very odd. You look at usual recipes and they give a list of ingredients and then how to use them and to make what you're making. With his, it was literally like 2 paragraphs, and just as you're reading through it, it just, oh yeah, you got to throw this in, and then, oh yeah, you got to put that in. So it was very, very hard to try to find the recipe, but I've dinked with it a little, and I went through and I kind of put it back in the format of a cooking recipe. So what you're going to need this morning is 2 pounds of pork, sausage. It's going to be cooked, mashed, and drained. Mashed, it's got to be broke down. You know how kind of, like if you're cooking it and it kind of just crumbles all up, that's what you're looking for. And you're wanting the grease all out of it. You're going to want 4.5 cups of chicken or beef stock, 1 1/4 cup yellow cornmeal, 1/2 a teaspoon of sage, and he puts in there pepper. Okay, well, we're going to go with pepper to taste. And we're going to need 2 eggs beaten. You're also going to need some loaf pans. He says 1 8-cup loaf pan. Well, I don't even know if there's an 8-cup loaf pan left in the world. So, shit if I know. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to try and wing it with a couple smaller loaf pans. So, well, that's pretty much everything you're going to need. Let's get to business. And away we go. 2 pounds of pork sausage. Drained, smashed, and cooked. So, let's see what we can do. Hiya. Boom. Okay. Fried, mashed, and drained. I'll tell you, I didn't have to drain this. You got to use a little common sense. I'm looking at it. I really don't have a whole lot of grease in the bottom, which leads me to believe that it's probably just some nice lean pork with it. See, there's not the heavy liquid like I was expecting. So we're going to take this out, and then we're going to put the stock in and see what we can do. Let's give it a shot. Poof! Evaluate your home's superior flavor beef broth. 4.5 cups. And there's 4.5 cups. Onward and upward. And for test purposes, 1 1/4 cup, 1 1/4 cup of cornmeal. This is 1 cup and 1/4 cup. Boom. Let that shit simmer until it's nice and thick and it sticks to the spoon. Not my directions, those are his. Sticks to the spoon. Let's see what we can do. And here we got it in, and we're in a low and slow. It's supposed to stick to the spoon, and it ain't stuck to the spoon yet. So we'll see what we got here in a few more minutes. But I'm running it low, and I'm constantly stirring. That way it don't stick to the bottom. Nobody wants sticky, stucky, burnt shit. And now that we've let this sit for a little while, I'm figuring out what he means by sticking to the spoon. This is the equivalent of oatmeal. All right. Let's start playing with some spices and some ingredients. Away we go. We got it nice and thick now, so we remove it from heat. We use 1/2 teaspoon of sage. We're going to use all that wonderful pork sausage. Oops, burp. And the last thing we're gonna need is some salt and pepper to taste and stir. Okay, my bad, doing the recipe checkout. We also need 2 eggs, scrambled, beaten, whatever you want to call it, moderately assaulted. Now we're gonna mix all that together. And you know how much fun it is to try and do this shit one-handed? Let's see if I can do this with 2 hands, and we'll just take pictures later. We got her all gooped up and shit together. Now we're gonna load them up into these here pans. I'm gonna fill them up fairly high because there's no yeast or any flour or shit like that, so it's not gonna rise on me. It's gonna stay very, very dense. So I'm gonna fill these up, and we'll take a look at them when they're done. I laid out all these tins thinking, well, I may have to get them. Nope, sure enough. 1 tin's gonna do it, but it's gonna do it thick. I'm gonna go ahead and put this on a baking sheet after I wrap it in aluminum foil because I really don't want this to bubble over, and if it does, it's gonna make a mess, and the missus is not gonna be too pleased with me dirtying up the freaking stove. So we're gonna wrap this aluminum foil, put it on a baking sheet, and we're gonna pop this bad boy in the oven. And once we pop it in the oven at 350, it's gonna sit in there for an hour, 350 for an hour. And then we'll see what we can get. And away we go on our baking sheet wrapped in aluminum foil. And into the oven she goes. All right, and we're gonna put that bad boy in there, and we're gonna let her bake for 1 hour. So we'll see y'all in 1 hour. And 1 hour has progressed. Let's see what we got. Oh my goodness, it's heavy. Of course, that ain't saying much. All right, got that. Beep, beep, beep. Yeah, I know. All right, now peel this off. Whew. She's big and she's sloppy. All right, we're gonna let this sit for a little bit, and then we're gonna pop it in the fridge. And the next videos we see is the cooking phase. Thank you much. We'll see you in a bit. And the final part, we went ahead and pulled it out of the cake tin. Of course, it's going to be not so pretty, but life goes on. Now, I'm going to take a slice of this. Okay, we've sliced it. Take this slice, bring it over here, put it in cornmeal. And that's what we've got. It's a little flimsy. Give me a second for the grease to heat up. As you can see, we got the grease over here heating. You want to get it fairly warm. I mean, if not, you're going to mush up. Think making French fries or something like that. You're going to want it fairly hot. Hang on a second. And now the last part, and my favorite part, eating. I like to put a little bit of jam on it. Jelly. We're using my nice homemade Scrapple jam. Yeah, we'll discuss that one when the season comes around. We're going to be having Scrapple jam, and I'm going to show y'all how to make Scrapple wine. I do it. Them poor Scrapplings don't stand a chance with me. I'll see if it's as good as when I was a kid. You're going to want to crisp it up nice on the outside. It's got a soft texture on the inside with a little bit of crispy. Sure enough, that's it. That first bite right there took me back to being about 8 years old at my grandma and grandpa's house. Enjoy, folks. Go ahead and like, share, do what you do. Y'all have a good one. Y'all be safe out there.